Alright guys, so the last video was just an introduction to modules. It's not actually part of our project. So we're going to clear out the entire app.js file, and then we're actually going to delete the two module files we created. So let's delete that and my module 2. And now we're actually ready to work on our project. So let's open up our index.html and we're going to create our UI. Alright, let's see, we can delete, close these up, and then we're going to be using Bootswatch again to give us a nice looking theme, and we're going to use the Cosmo theme right here. So if we click download, we can just grab this link, and let's go over to our index.html and let's add a link tag and put that in there. We're also going to need Font Awesome because I want to use a couple icons. So I'm going to search for Font Awesome CDN. First link here, and then we'll just grab this link tag and we'll put this, let's see, we'll put it right below the Bootstrap link. Now if you want to add the Bootstrap JavaScript and the dependencies, jQuery and stuff, you can do that, but we're not doing anything that needs that, so I'm not going to include it. If you plan on using drop downs or anything like that, then you should include it. So let's go ahead and start on the body here. We can close these up. So I'm going to get rid of the dummy text here. Alright, I'm just going to close this sidebar up for now. And let's put in a nav bar. So it's going to be a very simple nav bar. It's a single page application. There's not even any links, so it's going to be very simple. We're going to give it a class of navbar. We're going to give it a class of navbar-dark, bg-primary, and mb-3. And then inside here we'll put a container, and then let's do an a tag with the class of navbar-brand. We'll just have that go to a hash, and then for the text we'll say microposts. So we'll save that. And there we go. Now, just if we update the HTML, it doesn't auto-load. Webpack Dev Server will auto-load if we change the JavaScript, but not the UI. So under the navbar, let's go ahead and put in a div with the class of container. I'm also going to give it a special container called posts container because we're going to need that later on for manipulating the DOM a little bit. All right, and then we'll do a card. So card, let's do card body, and then a custom class of card form, which we'll use later on. And then inside here, let's put an h1 and we'll say something. So it's kind of like Twitter, like a cheap version of Twitter. And then let's put a paragraph with a class of lead, and we'll just say, what's on your mind. And under that paragraph, let's put a form group. And in here, we're going to have just an input, and it'll be a type of text. Let's give it an ID of title and a class of form control. And let's give it a placeholder of post title. Okay, and we'll save that, reload, and there we go. So now we have a post title. We're also going to have a post body. So I'm going to copy this form group, paste it in, and then this one here is actually going to be a text area. So we're going to change that to text area. It doesn't need a type. Okay, it's going to need an ending tag, and we'll change the ID to body, and then we'll say post body. Like that. Okay, good. Now, I'm also going to put in a hidden field because what we're going to do later on is we're going to have an edit state. So by default, it's in the add state. So to add a post, right? Now, we're not going to use a different form for editing, so we're going to have a state. And when this input, it's going to be an ID input that's going to be hidden, and we're going to say if there's an ID in this hidden field, then it's going to be in the edit state. All right, and you'll see what I mean later. But for now, we're just going to put input. It's going to be a hidden. The name is going to be, actually, we don't need a name. We need an ID, which is actually going to be ID. And then we're going to set the value by default to nothing. Okay, and you'll learn more about why we're doing this later. So under that, we're going to put the button. So we'll say button. Let's give it a few classes. It's going to have a class of post-submit, which is a class that we're going to use. It's going to have btn, bootstrap, btn-primary, and btn-block. These are all bootstrap classes. And let's go for the text, and we'll say post it. Okay, and then one more thing I want to put in here is a span. And I'm going to give it a class of form-end. And we're going to use this later for DOM manipulation for the alert. Okay, so now what we want to do is go under, let's see, so we have form group, this is the card. So under the card, under this div here, we're going to put, first of all, just a line break, and then a div with the ID of posts. And this is going to be the placeholder for our posts. Okay, and then under the final div, we're just going to put a simple footer. And let's actually give this a few classes. Let's say margin top 5, padding 3, text center, and BG light. And then we'll just say micro posts, and we'll put in a copyright symbol. And that's it. So let's save and reload, and there's our UI. All right, now in the next video, what I want to do is set up our fake REST API. Now you saw that we use the JSON placeholder remote service, but we can also install a local version of that with NPM. So that's what we're going to do in the next video.